Hi there, it's Rich here, giving you a quick verdict on my Mercedes SL500 R230. This was a car that was said to be the most technologically advanced car in the world back in 2002. It is a pinnacle of Mercedes, a history that goes back 50 years. You're not buying a car when you buy an SL500, you're buying part of Mercedes history. With a base price of over 70k and most cars leaving the factory at closer to 80k, it was never going to be a cheap car to run. But as long as you understood that, as long as you budgeted accordingly, you'd be left with a completely astounding car. This car looks fast, stationary. It looks beautiful at just about any angle. And when you drive roof down with that glorious V8 thumping a great bellow of noise, life just doesn't get much better. And don't be put off by the size. It's long, wide and low. And 300 brake horsepower may not sound a lot nowadays, but 20 years ago it was more than enough to push you in the back under hard acceleration. The ABC, active body control for people that don't know, defies the car's weight, keeping the car well balanced and flat under hard braking or through the corners. It really can cover ground at an astounding pace. A pace that quickly moves into licence-losing speeds. A pace where great personal discipline is needed to remain law-abiding. And nearly 17 years and 72,000 miles have gone through this car, and yet it still feels like not one of the 302 horses have been lost. The pull of the engine through a wallop of torque is so addictive that close friendships with local fuel stations is a given. And although spirited driving will send the fuel needle south far too quickly, you soon realise that the cost of putting fuel in the car isn't the cost driver. It's the electronics. You see, when you buy an SL500, you're buying a car that is so advanced for the time. Leading technologies were put into this car because the wealthy who bought these new only wanted the latest tech. They wanted the bragging rights down their local. And what does 20-year-old tech feel like now? Put simply, expensive. And here lies the Achilles heel of the SL500. Cost of ownership. As values have plummeted over best part of 2 decades, some SL500s have dropped into second and even third hand Ford Fiesta money. The problem is that the maintenance and upkeep of these cars hasn't. And owners live with this problem and that fault. Miss the odd bit of maintenance too. And repairs for this car aren't cheap. And where the car has suffered multiple compound faults, repair bills aren't counted, they're calculated. Think of a big number and double it. They are then sold on and their ever circular ownership continues. Never has it been more important than now to emphasise the importance of not buying a cheap SL500. There is no such thing. They don't exist. They are cheap for a reason. Buy at the upper end of the market. Buy on condition. Buy on history. Accept no faults. And I mean no faults. You'll still be buying a car for a fraction of what the original owner paid, but significantly reducing the risk of buying a money pit. So, is the SL500 the biggest bargain of the decade? Buy wisely. Understand the premium you need to allow for maintenance and repair, and you could have just bought not just a car, but a part of SL history. I'll leave you with one final comment. Cars come and cars go. Variety is too great an attraction for most people like you or I. Change is great. Change keeps the dream of the next car alive. But I've owned this car for nearly 4 years. It's cost me more than I bear to think. But am I planning on selling anytime soon? No, possibly never. Cars this beautiful and this good just don't come along enough. And times are changing, where cylinders are being replaced by turbos or even batteries. And if I sell today, I'm concerned in the future I'll never be able to afford one again. This really is my forever car. Thanks for watching.